What's good, trailblazers of sound? This is Aura Mustang bringing you the vibes from Origins, the beating hearts of alternative artistry. Today, we're about to embark on a journey that's going to light a fire in your creative soul. Our guest isn't just here to talk, they're here to walk the walk, showcasing their unique craft and shining a radiant light on the collective alternative artists who dare to define convention. From the ethereal sound of indie to the raw power of rock. We're celebrating the spirit of innovation and paving the way from a new wave of artistic expression. So, my fellow creators, get ready to be inspired, get ready to break boundaries, because today we're unleashing a wave of creativity that bound to change the game. Let's dive in and make some magic happen. Go ahead, introduce yourself.
Yo, what's up? My name is Lepani, and I'm a Fijian artist, born in Fiji, raised in New Zealand, and I make a mix of everything. So I kind of go from a bit of pop to a bit of R&B to a little bit of rock, and my biggest inspirations are movies, TV, anime, comics, anything that's just my inner nerd, and I kind of express that through my music. So that's just a little bit about me.
Shout out to you. And tell us how your origin story all started. Where did your
Yeah,
chapter begin?
yeah. So for me, I've always been singing with my family in church. Grew up singing, and I just started writing. Every time I went through something, I would just write music, and that's just kind of how it's always been. Music's been a therapy for me. I used to illustrate and I used to draw. My first dream was I wanted to become a comic book artist, but then I realized as I grew that I pretty much just wanted to create. That was my biggest thing, no matter what it was, and it all just led to music. So no matter what, I just want to create. So that's just my journey so far.
Shout out to you. So you always just music always been part of your life.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's just always been there.
And how does that get you got influenced to it? Like your parents passing on to you?
Yeah, man. So my both my parents sing. So my dad plays the guitar. He taught me my very first few chords on the guitar, and my sister sings. She's like crazy singer. She's got crazy R&B gospel vocals, and yeah, pretty much it's just always been a part of my life. Every time I watch a movie or a TV show as a kid, one of the things that would draw me to it were the theme songs. So Justice League animated series, uh,
Mm.
Avatar, Last Airbender, like the soundtracks to these shows that I watched growing up, they were huge. And then when I got into anime, that was every opening theme song to every anime. I'd sit and watch it first, and I would judge the series based on the opening theme. That was a lot of it, and then yeah, it's just been a big aspect of every part of my life.
Shout out to you. And I'm curious if you would have had the opportunity to make a soundtrack for a TV show, a movie, or a commercial, which one would you go for?
I'd have to go for a movie. I think that's kind of been my dream to be able to make a soundtrack. The Tarzan soundtrack by Phil Collins, that was
Mm.
probably the biggest inspiration for me, um, in terms of, kind of like that's the biggest milestone for me. If I could make a soundtrack for a film, I feel like I've made it as an artist or a songwriter or a producer.
Okay. And I'm glad that you brought that up because I'm also curious, like, what is your skill set? We got to know you a bit of being an artist, a singer, and I see that you play some instruments as well. I'm curious what other skill sets you have.
Yeah, so production. So like all of my stuff, well, most of my stuff I produce myself. There are a couple of tracks that I've released on Spotify that I've worked with other producers, but over the last 7 or 8 years, I've kind of tried to hone that skill of being able to produce, so I can kind of bring my own creative vision to life, and also that I can work on other people's creative visions with them and collaborate. So production, I started off playing the bass guitar. That was a big instrument for me, but then I moved on to the piano and guitar and drums. So I play a little bit of everything, just enough to kind of put it all together. So production's a big thing. Songwriting. I used to draw. Yeah, obviously, like I was saying before, I wanted to be a comic book artist. I've kind of lost that skill a bit, but I can still do the basics. So that's that's still there.
And do, you mind telling us a bit more of this comic book? Are you still working on it? Will we ever get to see it?
No, I gave up on that a long time
Okay,
ago.
okay, okay. Um, So, the comic book, or if you don't mind me asking about the comic book, what was it about when you was working on
I had a couple of stories played out. I had one that was it was kind of like a deep space universe that I was kind of start with one of my friends, and he was going to write it and I was going to illustrate it. This is we both studied filmmaking together, and we decided we both got really got into comics when I started working at a comic book shop, and there were a couple of ideas that we had running between each other, and one of them was just this kind of like crazy space adventure that my friend came up with, and he's still writing some ideas. So who knows? I might come back into that and help him out with his artwork for that. But yeah, there
it?
was there was just a couple of like universe building stories that he wanted to start off with and or start up, and yeah, that was kind of the plan until the music thing took off, and I just rolled with the music thing.
Okay. Shout out to that. Okay. So you had some interest in some comic books. I did see on your social media that you would make remix to like popular songs and to like anime openings.
Yeah,
You mind telling me a bit like how that started and what kicked that idea into fruition? For me just watching, I thought that was pretty dope to see that.
thank
But
you.
I'm curious, like, to hear you know,
Yeah,
what sparked
it's
that.
yeah for sure. That was just kind of an impulsive thing. So I've always done covers throughout, my career, and I'd post a bunch of covers on socials. But this year I just decided might as well just do something different. And I've always been afraid to show that nerdy side. I mean, I got a few stuff behind me, and I've like with my friends and my family, I'm not really embarrassed. But with my artist side, I've had experience with like industry professionals, and when I was with the record label, it was kind of a thing where I had to limit the exposure of my interests, especially kind of the more nerdy ones. So ever since I went independent, I kind of had this thing where I was like, oh, I'm free. I can just do whatever I want. And then just this year, I decided, you know what, screw it. I love music. I love anime. So I'm gonna take the two. And I mean, I love classic tracks like "Stick with You" was a big one for me because I grew up listening to a lot of R&B songs influenced by my sister. So I took that song, and then um, I took like my influence from anime that I love. So my favorite opening from My Hero Academia is I think season 5. Oh no, season 3. And like the cover that I made for "Stick with You" was inspired by the sonic of that song by Blue and Count Polaris. And yeah, that's where that came from. And then I made another one with One Direction song, "Little Things," and they
Mm,
seem to do well. So I have no idea why, but it turns out uh, people that look like me also enjoy the same things that I enjoy. So that's kind of what inspired me to keep doing it, because it's like you know if like a lot of people that are like Pacific Islanders like me, and I guess it's probably the same with other like with other ethnicities who don't really fit that aesthetic of being a kind of a nerd into comic books and anime and stuff. I just thought
mm.
if I start doing it and people love it, then they kind of have a face or a voice that they can relate to that's also into that stuff. So I mean, another face. There's other people out there that are also influencing that side of things. So yeah, that's kind of where it started. I thought, screw it, I'm just gonna do it. Uh, Show this side of me, and hope it sticks. So it seems to be sticking at the moment.
Yeah, shout out to you. I also saw that you made it in one of your videos that it was challenging for you to, be able to express yourself in other genres of music. Um, so being independent now, you've been feeling more free to explore different sounds. So I'm curious, since you left and started being independent, what sounds have you explored since then?
Oh man, yeah, I've gotten into like a lot of different like obviously like there's just recently like the last couple releases I've gotten into like some more punk pop slash pop rock sounds. Um, Last year I was getting more into the like leaning more heavily into the like the pop R&B kind of ballad stuff, and I even tried to get into some. I released a single that was like an Afrobeat track, and like a kind of a I'm a piano slash Jersey beat. kind of vibe with a few of them. So since I left the label and since I left the label, I've been able to not be stuck in one lane. I've just been able to be like, I really vibe with all of these types of songs, and like these are songs that have heavily influenced my art. So why not pay respect to that and release and create music that I love, which is a little bit of everything. So right now I'm in that yeah, I guess right now I'm in that punk pop rock era. So it might switch into something else after that, and then might get into country. I don't know, whatever it is, just
Hmm.
I just kind of like let the music speak.
Shout out to you. Okay, that's what's up.
Shout out.
Um, when it comes to uh the label that you was part of, how long was you signed to them?
I was with them for about 5 to 6 years. So in comparison to a lot of other artists, it wasn't too long, and I was really fortunate that with the team at the label that I was with, they were really nice. They were actual like really good people. I guess it was more just for me. I had to understand that in the industry, there's a fine line between the art and the business of it. So I had to kind of come to that conclusion that it wasn't that there's a bit too much of the business in the label side, and it kind of wasn't where I wanted to go in terms of my artistry, back then, or my career. So
Mm,
yeah, you kind of learn that you have to compromise a lot. So it's just a matter of, are you willing to compromise that? And I guess I wasn't really willing to compromise my artistry at that moment. So who knows where it's going to be later? But I'm really happy with where things are now, and just being able to be creative. That's the biggest thing for me right now.
okay. What's some of the positive things you was able to take away from your experience being signed to a label?
Yeah, man. Like I think the biggest thing was taking this seriously, like treating it like it's your actual job or your career, because nobody else is gonna believe that. Nobody else is gonna believe that it's your career other than you, especially when you're doing something like art, no matter what art it is, whether it's yeah, music or film or TV or animating or whatever. Like a lot of people won't believe that it's your work or your job unless they see your name in the credits somewhere, or they see you get millions of streams. So
Mm,
one thing I learned was that from the get go, I just had to treat myself as a professional because nobody else would. And I've kind of stuck with I've kept that with me now, even till this point, and it's been a roller coaster. But no matter how high the highs are or how low the lows are, as long as I treat myself like a professional, like I'll keep going with this career. So that's the biggest, probably the biggest takeaway from being with the label.
okay. And my last question when it comes to the label, after your experience with the label, what is your like, has that changed your perspective signed to a label going into the near future, or will you stay independent?
Yeah, that's it's definitely changed my perspective heaps. I'm like, uh, I think I realized that the best time for me to sign to a label is when I have leverage, and I guess
Mm,
that kind of goes more into, like, I could get deeper into that, but basically, I learned that the best time to sign to a label is when you have a bit more of the upper hand as an artist. So, because I got signed when I was green, completely fresh, nobody knew my name, and they were able to take advantage of that. Um, Not necessarily in a bad way. They just
it's just
they,
business.
yeah, exactly.
Mm,
So like now, as I'm starting to progress and my career is starting to pick up again, um, if a label approaches, if the deal's right, and I can get my side of it, I can get a good. If my side of it's right, then I'll
mm.
sign. But at the moment, I'm really happy being independent, and I think it's nice to just to kind of reap all the rewards myself.
And part two of that question, when it comes to having a leverage to a label, have you figured out what you need to leverage? What exactly you need, to have that bargaining chip?
Yeah, I think it's like an accumulation of everything. So it's like it's not enough to just have lots of followers, and it's not enough to just have lots of streams. You kind of have to have a bit of both. So you don't have to have a huge following or huge streams. But if I like, for me at least personally, I feel like the moment I get a good balance of both of those, and the moment I've found like made it onto big festivals or events or shows, like one big one myself, that's when I know I'll have that leverage. So it's like a good balance of everything where one of them's not crazy and the other two or three or four things in your in your work all low at the bottom. So I think it's just, and it's, I think the biggest thing apart from that is just my confidence and my mental state, like being able to sit, confidently opposite them with that contract in hand and be like, this is what I want, this is what I need, and I know that this is what you guys are going to offer, but through my experience, I know that this is what's right for myself and for me and my wife and our future and the family that we're going to start. So that kind of thing. And I think the biggest thing is just when I know I'm confident enough to hold my own in that room with these big industry heads.
Mm. Shout out to you. Okay. And I know I said that was my last question, but this one's
That's so
actually
good.
going to be my last. When it
Sweet, man.
comes to your journey being part of a label and now being independent, I'm curious, what is your biggest song when you was in the label compared to, your biggest song being independent?
Oh, yeah, man. So my biggest song when I was with the label, it was called Next to Me, and I worked on that with a couple of these other producers. And that one reached, I think that's sitting on almost 4 million. Maybe, no, I think it's over 4 million now streams on Spotify. Um, so for me, that
Congratulations.
was oh, thank you, man. That was yeah, that's a huge one. And then for me, being independent, my biggest song since I've been independent was 100,000 streams on Spotify. So that's a huge, like a huge
Sure.
drop. But the craziest thing is, I think like why I'm more proud of the other song is because that song's called Someday, the one that has 100,000. I'm way more proud of that one because like that's a song that I chose from my heart and myself, and it wasn't curated by A&Rs and other test audiences and all that stuff. It was just me sitting down and being like, this song hits, like this I
Mm.
feel this song and I know people are gonna feel it. Then I released it and people did. Like there's 100,000 people that are real, that actually relate to the track, as opposed to 4 million passive listeners on a playlist that the label got for me.
Mm.
So but not trying to be salty to the label, like that's
Mm.
just my personal, like, to me that's more of an achievement, that 100,000. So yeah, that's the comparison, man. That's pretty
I
crazy though.
feel it. No, and shout out to you. And I think that shows a lot too. Um, I think that's a big achievement on your part, especially coming from label. Like a label is like a full team of people,
Yeah, man.
but is you most likely by yourself or with your crew independently doing it on your own. So the fact that you was able to hit that number, shout out to you.
I appreciate that,
Uh,
man.
that's well deserved.
Thank you.
Okay. And what was the song again for the independent one?
It's called Someday. That's
Sunday. Okay.
Someday. So
Someday.
SOME. Sorry, it's my accent. Sorry, man.
No problem. No problem. You said someday.
Yeah, Someday. That's right. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Bet, bet, bet. I happen to listen to that song too. Okay.
Cheers, man.
Shout out to you. Okay. When exactly did you start making music?
Oh man, the first song I produced. So my mom sent me. Oh, my mom brought home one day these headphones with an audio interface and a bass guitar, and I had no idea what an audio interface was. That was back in 2000. I was like 14 or something, 15 in high school, and she noticed that I was interested in music. And then, like a couple years after that, I realized there was a CD in that pack as well, and it was Cubase, so it was a DAW, like a music making software. And then I made my first like beat on there, and when I was like, yeah, I think I was like 15 or 16, so a year after, and that was the first beat I made. And but the first like full track that I kind of wrote and produced and made for myself, I would have been like probably like 19 or something, and I had not released or shown anyone, and I just kind of kept making stuff from then on. So yeah, I'd say 19, when I was 19 was probably when I made my first written, produced track, recorded. It's terrible. It was terribly recorded, but you got to start somewhere. So yeah, that was it for me.
Shout out to you. And
Shout out.
shout out to your mom as well.
Yeah, 100%, man. Shout out to my mom.
So I'm curious. This question is a good one. When it comes to receiving good parenting from your parents, I'm curious. What parenting are you looking to pass down to your child that you
Oh
got
man.
from your parents?
Yeah, I think yeah, so from my dad, definitely like learning to be super like analytical about things. So he's especially with money. My parents are immigrants, so they when we moved to New Zealand from Fiji, uh, they didn't really we didn't really have much. So my dad kind of kept us financially stable, and he kind of instilled this like idea of living within your means. So no matter how big you get or whatever, how much money you make, to kind of um, just to kind of to yeah for yourself, like to look after your money and stuff like that. And I've been really bad with that, and I'm really lucky that I met my wife, and she has that same mentality. So she's
Mm-hmm.
reminding me to stop, being a bit more smart with my money. Like man, I could just buy action figures and comics for the rest of my life if I could. As soon as I left school, I started working. I spent all my money on going to the cinema to watch whatever next MCU movie came out. I'm glad I watched during that time. Those phases,
Mm-hmm.
I'm really glad I watched during the first three phases. Oh man, good days. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, all of that stuff. As soon as I left school, I got a job. I bought a PS4. I bought a laptop to make music. I bought a new mic. I just spent my money, all that stuff. But kind of now I'm learning to be a bit more smart with my money. So yeah, with from my dad, that's probably a big thing. Just being a bit more logical about things and not being so emotional when you're trying to make decisions. So I'm still learning, but I think having him as an inspiration to, as an immigrant, to have that motivate me and inspire me to be more like him in that sense that's a big thing. And for my mom, it's actually the opposite. She's the one that really pushed me to just follow my heart and do whatever it is that felt right, and just to stick with it. Um, like everybody else was kind of telling me when I first got into the music thing, or when I wanted to be a filmmaker or a comic book artist, whatever it was, I wasn't doing well in school, and these were the things I wanted to do. And everyone was like, "Well, you kind of need to at least go to uni and at least or college, and at least have a bachelor's degree in something." And I couldn't. That just wasn't my thing. It didn't feel right in me. And my mom was the one that said, "It doesn't actually matter what you do, as long as you stick to it and you keep your head down and you just hustle your way through and you don't give up. There's gonna be something at the end. No matter what it is, you'll find that reward." And because of that, I'm still here, still kicking, still doing this crazy music thing. And like that's just like there's like nothing I can do that could thank her enough for that. And like so, like every day I'm grateful for that thing that she's kind of taught me or pushed me to do. So yeah, that's those are the two things from my parents.
Shout out to your parents.
Yeah, man.
Um, and for your wife, I think correct me if I'm wrong, but did she appear in like one of the behind the scenes of your recording for your music video?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, that's her.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
does
her.
she shoot your music video?
Oh man, she's my yeah. It's not in a okay, so not in a like a corny cliche way, but she's literally my everything. And
Mm,
I mean as in like she does like my videography, my press shots, so my images. She helps me with the playlisting, radio stuff. So she's basically my full time manager now. Just
mm,
because when we've just moved to the UK from New Zealand, and basically I have no one else to help me work on this music thing. So she's really helped me by taking on a lot of that responsibility, all that stuff that as a creative you find it hard to do. So all the logistics and the admin stuff, and she enjoys that stuff as well. So that's lucky for me. I'm really lucky she enjoys that. And yeah, I had to teach her how to use a camera, and yeah, so most of the majority or most of the content that I have on my socials, if the camera's moving, that's her. She's filming it.
okay. Hey, shout out to you both. I think I do really good well.
Oh,
And I think it's
appreciate it, man.
pretty dope to see like partners coming together, supporting each other. We don't really get to see a lot of that mainstream. So
Yeah,
especially like you said, like creating like that anime opening scene. Like a lot of us anime nerds, we always looking for, our one and true love. So it's dope to
Yeah,
see,
that's it, man.
it's dope to see, partners in love and supporting each other. That's dope to see that. So
I
I would say
appreciate
that's
that.
really cool, chemistry that we get to see behind the scenes of y'all supporting each other and y'all creativity. What it seems, it makes pretty well. It's really entertaining to watch, your music video.
Ah, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
No problem. And I'll also say your skits is very entertaining as well.
Oh, sweet. Oh, that's good. I'm always worried about that stuff because I hate. Yeah, I hate that stuff. Like when I got into filmmaking, I wanted to be a screenplay or screenwriter slash director. So I'm always been a fan of being behind the camera, but I hate being in front of it. It's so awkward. But
Mm,
I just don't have the budget to hire actors for every piece of content. So I have to knuckle up and do it myself. It sucks, but that's just
you gotta
life.
finesse what you finesse.
Yeah, exactly, man. That's it.
Shout out to you. So, for somebody that didn't want to be in front of the camera, I'm curious, what is your favorite music video that you've done so far?
That's that's great. That's a great question. It's actually the music video for "Someday." So that
Mm.
song with the biggest streams. Um, that's my favorite music video, and
Is
that's
Some
actually
Days the one with the family music video? They had
uh,
like the little children starting off coming out of the front porch. Was that the one?
yeah, that's the
Okay.
visualizer slash lyric video. So that was what I made. So that's footage of me as a kid with my sister and my two cousins back in New Zealand
Nope.
when we were kids. The actual music video for that one is I hired an actor because that song is kind of about my insecurities as somebody who doesn't like. It's basically just a song about my insecurities. So the music video the official music video we made, I hired an actor um, to play me. So he basically sang as me. He's on stage. He's pretending to be me, and he's kind of like
Oh.
who I see. I want to be like. I don't feel like I look good enough to be in front of the camera and to be an artist. And I'm kind of always put in the lane of who I should be and who I should sound like because I sound the way I do. People say I sound quite white, so I used a white actor to play
Mm.
me. So it's that kind of I was playing on that theme. So that's actually my
That's
favorite.
dope.
It's funny the music video I love the most and I'm proudest of the most is actually the one where I'm not in it. So that's
That's
fitting.
dope. Yeah, it is kind of ironic.
Yeah.
Well, and then technically, if you consider the other version of the music video, technically you are in it. Uh,
Yeah.
but when I was watching the music video, I was like, who the fuck is this?
It's like, hey, yo, he's got kids. He's got 4 kids.
I was looking no because I actually saw the other version of the music video, but I was a little bit confused because when I look at it, I was like, oh, who's this white guy? I didn't see a feature on the song, so I was like, am I mixing? Did I click on the wrong video?
Right. That's
Uh,
it.
but when I was watching it, I was looking at the guy like farm. I was like, this got to be like part of the music video. Like this is the actor that's like
Yeah.
replace
That's
him or
it.
something. So like that's what it is. But at first, I was like, who the fuck is this? uh,
Yo.
but shout out to after hearing the backstory of that. That's pretty dope. I
Thank
think
you,
that's
man.
a uh, especially to people that listen to the song or watch the music video. I think that would be pretty interesting to hear, that detail.
Mm.
So when it what so you already talked about the inspiration behind the music video, how you know, you use the white guy to, to fit the image that people perceive. I guess listen to your music and hear your voice, but they didn't get to see your character, or they just announced that how you sounds white.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. What was that? Can you say that again?
So for the people that say that you sound or you when they say that you sound white, was they talk about just your voice singing wise, or did they hear your music and then get to see like you as a person? I was just curious like how they came
Yeah.
to that conclusion.
Yeah. It's like it's both. Like
Okay.
there's times where they've heard me sing at like a back when I was in New Zealand, I'd be singing covers. I'd be at a covers gig or busking or something, and then they'd hear my voice with the guitar I'm playing. They'd walk up, and I'm singing an Ed Sheeran song or a Justin Bieber song, and they'll walk up and they'll be like, "Whoa!" They're like, "I didn't realize that you sound." They're like, "Yeah, you sound really white." I'm like, "Oh man, okay." I mean, I just thought I sounded like me,
Hmm.
but sure. And then when I made the songs that I made, so New Zealand for Pacific Islanders, you either make reggae, rap, or full on R&B. Those are kind of the for Fijians, Samoans, and Tongans, that kind of the group that we have. That's usually the kind of music that we're placed in. That's the kind of box that we're
Mm.
placed in. So if any of us kind of stray away out of, I mean, honestly, I don't know if it's the same in the States, but there's like, music still holds a little bit of a segregation thing. So if somebody comes out and makes a song that's not really within their look, it's
Mm.
kind of almost seen as a gimmick sometimes. So like there's a couple of Samoans out there who've gone into like a country vibe because they love country music, and then it kind of turns it into a gimmick because we country's not really a thing for brown people. Same
Mm.
with like if I wanted to make punk rock or punk pop, it's kind of weird because I'm brown, because I'm not white, so it's not my type of music. So that's
Mm.
kind of a big thing. There's a lot of that. I don't know what you call it, but it's people already expecting that sound from you. So when they ask me if I make music, or they ask me what I do, I say I make music. Their first impression is that I make reggae or I rap, and I kind
Mm.
of have to show them my stuff. So when they hear my stuff, they hear the types of music I make, the production that I make, and the things that I'm inspired by. It kind of shocks them a lot. But I think most
Oh,
people are getting used to it. But
yeah,
that's it.
well, it's definitely an interesting take. I would definitely say that. But me personally, I would definitely say you got a commercial sound.
Oh, thank you,
Meaning
man.
like I could definitely be here and play anywhere, like people waiting in the elevator, people on their
Elevator
flight.
music.
Wait, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm just paying I'm just paying the mood.
I love it. I love it. Hey, but the commercial thing to me,
Mm.
honestly, is like that. That's way more of a compliment than somebody just saying you sound like a brown Ed Sheeran, or
Mm.
you sound like a brown Justin Bieber. It's that I don't know. That
Mm.
just sounds more um, like it feels like there's more purpose in that statement. It's like, okay,
Mm.
cool. So there's an actual place for my voice, rather than I just sound like a
Yeah.
rip off, a knockoff, cheap version of this person.
Especially where you located now, if you don't
Uh,
mind me asking.
no, yeah, that's fine, man. I'm in Manchester now. So my wife and I, we moved to Manchester in the UK,
Okay.
and the music here is it's very punk, it's very rock. So that was, I
Oh,
think, maybe subconsciously when I started making the series, just because I was probably influenced a lot as well by the scene here, and with all the anime that I watch, like I've been watching way more lately. That's probably another big reason um, why I decided to make the series. But yeah, so we're in Manchester at the moment in the UK.
well, shout out to you. Well, you already, proved that once more with this interview. So I'm actually located in Philadelphia, United States.
Yo,
So
hey, congrats, man.
so the
The
fact that your
champs, the
sound actually
champs.
reached me. So I
Oh,
actually think that your music would do well, especially like your pop sound. Like, so what I mean by commercial means like, it could be played anywhere.
yeah, thank you,
Especially
man.
in business terms. That's what they would refer to your music. Oh, you got a commercial sound, so I can play this anywhere. Ads, people on flights. You got love music, so people going on vacation and stuff like that. You got a lot of access to your music, so I recommend keep trying exploring, even when it
Yo,
comes to like your skits. Um, I've been seeing like people reacting to your music from if they just coming to watch the visuals for it. Is it the music itself? Is it you personally? It's a lot that you give into your artistry that draws in people.
thank you, man.
Um, so I definitely see your music doing really well over here in the United States,
That's sick.
especially like it is really open to like pop sounds and happy sound music with like deeper meaning.
Mm,
Um, or even like connecting to an audience of anime. United States got a huge like fan base of people that
yeah,
love
it's
enjoy
crazy.
anime. So I can definitely see like or maybe that's how I got to see your work, like your skits with the anime opening remix. Like a lot of people like connect with that. A lot of
Thank you,
people
man.
enjoy anime openings. Like they have that downloaded into their playlist.
Yeah,
So I definitely recommend like keep testing out your music. To the whole world came together to a conclusion like, hey, you should stop. And
yeah, yeah,
I would say
exactly.
two then keep trying pushing out your music.
No,
Um,
that's it.
And my last thing I'm gonna bring up before we hit halfway break. I also see that you play rugby.
Yeah.
You mind telling us a bit about
Yeah, man. So I was your, I was just your regular Troy Bolton in high school, basically. I was in the musical in school, and I played rugby as well. I mean, rugby is a big part for us, a big sport for us in New Zealand and the Pacific Islands. Like we just everybody loves rugby. You either play rugby or you get a proper job. Rugby is considered a proper job if you can make it there. But yeah, so I played rugby. I played all the way up until last year. So I played club rugby, and that's just been a big part of my life as well because it's kind of a way for me to switch off from the music. The only problem is the injuries. So rugby is a
it?
heavily, contact sport. So it's kind of something I had to choose between. Again, it was a Troy Bolton High School Musical moment where I had to choose between music and rugby, and I've always had to have that choice. So rugby's always kind of been second priority, but it's just been a nice way to let a lot of things out. And yeah, it's like played a huge part of my life. If it wasn't for the people I met playing rugby and the friendships and the brothers that I made from there, um, yeah, like I would be in a very different place at the moment. So that's a big thing, but also I would say because of rugby as well, I found my way um, into American football and falling in love with that, and like another sport that similar in the sense of there's contact, um, but it's like a whole different game. And I mean, hey, you guys are the champs, man. Were you
Mm,
getting rowdy when you guys won?
mm, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I love
Especially,
it.
yeah. Even when we're against each other, we're still competitive.
Yeah, man.
Uh, but and I was actually just thinking earlier too, like when I was listening to your music, I already thought you was from, United States. So
Crazy.
it's like it really blew my mind. So you actually like the third artist I had from UK.
Wow.
So shout out to you. So that actually shows you that your sound is getting explored even over here in the United States. I'm
Oh,
proof of it.
thank you, man.
So I'm just curious to see how much reach can you go, especially independent. Like this is the best time ever. So
Yeah.
I would recommend, especially when you're testing out your sounds, if you're looking for a different marketing strategy, I would recommend testing out in different areas and then collaborating with the locals in those areas. Like you
Yeah,
offer a
man.
lot. So
Thank you.
when it comes to your fellow peers, they always looking to explore or work with artists in those particular genres. So if you're looking for an excuse to, explore those genres, work with your fellow peers in those genres. I
Mm,
would recommend that. That would definitely give you further exposure. But so far on your own, I think you're doing pretty good. The music is good. The
thank you, man.
outreach is working. You're getting seen. You're able to hit, 100,000 views on your own without a label. And that's what a lot of people sign to a label just to achieve that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
shout out to you. And coming to the halfway mark, I actually have some talents that you could use that might be interesting for you, but
Sick.
I'll let you decide. The first one that I got for you, shout out to Gifted Cuddle. He's not only an artist, but he also a author for his own comic book.
Wow.
He started his own comic book series called One Nation. So if you're interested to see more information about him, I can send you that after
Yeah,
this.
man.
No problem. The second one that I got for you, shout out to Jeremy. He started up a series called Tap Room Live, where entertainers get to perform in a small establishment such as restaurant, etc., in a small crowd. Right now he's located in the United States, but he's
Mm.
is looking to expand. But if you like to say, upkeep of what he got going on, or like to get connected to, somebody within that field, I can make that happen.
Man, if he makes his way to the UK, count me in.
Okay.
That's crazy.
But the third one that I got for you, this guy is a folk artist, but he's also starting up his podcast similar to what I'm doing. But you would sit down with a fellow artist, chop it up, talk about each other music and stuff like that. Shout out to Kingsman Squash Disaster. His podcast is called Sound Sandwich Podcast.
I love that
Um,
name.
yeah. He's a cool dude. He's a folk artist, nomad. If you're looking for a fellow artist with a unique, nostalgic type of voice, I recommend him. I can send you his
Amazing.
information after the show.
You said folk music?
Yeah, he make
Oh,
folk music.
oh, that's great, man. Like, that's yeah, 100%. That would be awesome.
Shout out to you. And then one more person that I have to introduce. Shout out to Tierra, Lady Poet. She's creating her own business making merch for fellow people. So if you're looking for somebody to make t-shirts and
Oh,
other
yo,
merchandise for you, we have somebody that we could recommend.
that's amazing. I mean, that's something that we're trying to get into as well. So having somebody with that experience would help heaps.
Okay, but.
Man,
And the last thing that I have to offer you as well. Origin recently started our own music label. Shout out to For You and Life Records. We make soundtracks with various different themes for artists to hop on for exposure or, test out your skill sets. So our first soundtrack that we made is mixing horror with Valentine's, basically thriller with romance.
yeah,
So if you looking to know more about the project or you're just interested in our producer, we can see more information under the show.
yeah, yes, please, man. I'm always anything to do with like more music, man. I'm always in. I'm always up for that.
Okay, but yeah, definitely hearing like your music, I was like, oh, we got to get this guy on
Yeah, man.
this
Honestly, man,
project.
if it's music, I'm in. That's just it for me. I think that was a big reason why leaving the label felt like the right choice because things like this, being able to do stuff
Hmm.
like this, I wouldn't have if I was with them, you know. So
No
that's
respect,
crazy recommendations, man.
no respect, and this is what we do. We happen to notice there's a challenge for a lot of artists. This is like the first time that we get to see so many people trying to strive in a field independently,
Mm,
especially like on social media. So we wanted to create like a creative hub where people can just gather and just make shit.
yeah.
Um, so just like when you talk about your passion being inspired by anime and everything. When I was growing up, I see that we had a lot of option to explore creativity. Like I'm not sure of what UK had, but in US we had MTV. We had a channel station that would showcase artists and music daily, but we don't have that anymore. So
Mm,
that's what we want to bring back when it comes to me and my team.
man, that's crazy. Yeah, I mean over here, I think it's just BBC is the big thing here.
No.
Um, and whatever flows down from the states as well. That's kind of it.
Okay. Shout out to you. And again, coming back into the halfway mark. Well, before we come back fully, how we
Mm.
feeling? How we doing?
Good, man. Yeah, this is
That's good to
great,
hear.
bro.
It's good to hear. Uh, Continue on. Let me see. Checking out your social media. Oh, also seeing your behind the scenes. I thought that was pretty dope.
Thank
Uh,
you.
what is your plan when going about behind the scenes? Do you do that for like every project that you participate or you're working on, or is you selective? How you go about that?
Yeah, it's kind of selective. So like I guess in terms of content, we've been since being independent, you realize you kind of have to do all of that, research and finding out your target demographics and the analytics and all that stuff yourself. So kind of well, my wife and I we've like learned to kind of pick and choose our battles because I get burnt out quite easily from just constantly filming stuff. So when we do something like if I'm doing something crazy, like I made a reverse video for one of my new singles, we're like, that's a perfect opportunity to do a behind the scenes of that piece of content because I think people will be really interested in that. Obviously, when we do music videos, you always have to do behind the scenes for that stuff. And I think in the future, I'm gonna start like recording myself in the studio while I'm making my music so I can record the process and make behind the scenes content for that. But I think for me, as somebody who's not a huge fan of constantly recording and stuff, kind of have to pick and choose and pick the right things to show people. And yeah, it's like yeah, you just kind of want to it's you kind of want to show them your vulnerability as well. So you don't want to hide too much. I think people these days enjoy when they see honesty in somebody's work. So showing them a lot more behind the scenes than I used to, it helps them to kind of relate and connect with me. So that's kind of how we approach it now.
No, shout out to you. And when it comes to your music videos, how do you go about which song gets selected to get a music video?
Yeah, so with that one, so back in New Zealand, we have a funding situation there. So the music industry back at my home where I'm originally from, it's well, I don't know about now, but it's quite supportive. So sometimes we get funding and we can it'll help us to create these music videos and hire some proper like production teams to pay them and stuff. If the music video can just be done with my wife and I, then we'll go for it. Like I really want to. If it was up to me, I could make a music video for every song. They tell you not to. They say it's not good for your. I guess it's not good for your branding because people these days they don't really watch music videos as much as they watch reels or TikToks. You know, so
Mm.
they say it's not really the best thing to invest your time in. But for me, it's more of a like investing my creativity. If I can fit it within my budget, and I can put time into it, and I can invest my time into it, I will because that's kind of what keeps the spark alive for me. So I feel like that plays a big part into the rest of my career because if I can have a little bit of that, you know, creative flow going on with there, then I can focus on my branding and my image when it comes to my socials. So it kind of helps me balance out that creativity with the business, you know, the artistry with the business. So that's yeah. I try to make a music video for everything if I can, or at least a visualizer or a lyric video,
Hmm.
because it just it kind of keeps the spirit of the art alive. That's what I believe, at least for me.
Shout out to. And when it comes to uh, you know, giving the audience some juicy details on future release or anything new, are you cooking up anything? Is there anything working or
Um,
cooking in the oven?
yeah, well, at the moment, I'm just collaborating with a whole bunch of like talented artists and producers and stuff, and yeah, just planning on doing some songs that I want to feature in, and kind of working on a bigger project for later. But right now, at the moment, I'm just going with the flow. I'm just making these covers, making these flips, these renditions, you know, these pop rock renditions, these acoustic renditions. And if one sticks, then I just finish the song and I release it. So with that one, I'm just playing it by ear and having fun with it. And if the people want it, I'll give the people what they want. In terms of my own bigger projects, yeah, I'm just seeing how it goes and have something way in the back cooking and planning how that, yeah, still figuring out how that's gonna work. And once yeah, I don't know. Once the sparks hit, then it's all go. But yeah, basically everything else is just by ear.
No. And I'm curious, have you got any experience performing live?
Yeah, so I had a bit of experience back when I first started my career, and I was in New Zealand. I did a festival over there, and I did a couple shows. Did a couple like supporting acts and stuff. Since I've been here, it's mostly just because I'm really new to the UK. Mostly been doing covers gigs and stuff like that, and I do have experience performing live. Just not here in the UK. It's still really green, really fresh. But yeah, that's something I love. It's something I used to really hate, and I'm starting to love it again. Performing live.
Mm.
I don't know if you know a lot of artists that feel that way, but I'm very much I'd rather be in the studio writing a song and making a beat than out there performing in the stage in front of lots of people. So
Mm. So, what's some of the things you hate about it, and what's some of the things you love about performing live?
uh, I think I think it's the well probably one of the things I hate is I guess just being in front of a lot of people. It's not that I get stage fright or that I'm nervous. It's more that I just find it draining having a whole bunch of eyes watching me. It's just a bit much for me. Like I can do it, I can go through it, and I can come out of it all right. But it's just it like drains my battery a bit too much. So then I come home and
Mm.
I just want to go straight to sleep or watch TV and then eat something and then that's me for the rest of the weekend. I don't want to do anything else. That's it. Probably the thing I hate the most about it. The thing I
Mm.
love the most is when you're in that moment and you're performing a song, especially when I'm with a band, like my band back home in New Zealand. They're just all my boys, so they're mates that I've made kind of along the way through my life and through my music career. So we just jam. Like when I'm on that stage and then a song starts and we look at each other, we start performing and we just find ourselves in the same zone. Like that's the best feeling. That's like the same feeling as when I'm like writing a song, and or I'm producing something, and then I hit the right chords or I get the right melody in my head. I'm like, that's a hit, you know, like in my head,
Mm,
like when I have that feeling. It's the same feeling when I'm jamming on stage with my friends. We're in the middle of the song, and that hit that at least for me, what was a hit that I made, we bring it to life on stage, and then you hear people like singing along or cheering or dancing. That's which is kind of it's kind of contrasting what I said before, how I hate the people's eyes on me, but I love it
mm,
when I see them relating and vibing with the song. So yeah,
mm.
that's the thing I love the most about it.
I respect that. I respect that. And when it comes to there's two questions I'm curious of. One,
Yeah, sure.
what is your favorite song to perform live compared to the crowd favorite? And will we see you testing or the boundary of like forming a band someday?
Yeah, so the my favorite song to perform was actually a cover, and I've performed this at every gig, at the end of every gig, and funny enough, that's actually usually the crowd favorite as well. It's Country Roads, Take Me Home, Country Roads, John Denver.
Okay.
Yeah, like that's my go-to. When I was a kid in primary school, our music teacher just played a whole bunch of classics that I had no idea where they were from. I had no idea if they were from the States or from the UK, like who the artist or band was. But I mean, we sang John Denver, we sang Ray Charles, like we just sang a whole bunch of these songs, and ever since then, those are like songs that have like inspired me in terms of my like melodies and production, and then I found my own artists and so on and so forth. But yeah, that's like my favorite song to perform live, just because it's a really fun one that I love that because the crowd loves it as well, and I
Mm,
guess kind of a milestone or a goal for me is to one day have a song myself, that just one song. All I need is just one song that gives the crowd that same feeling, that when they sing, when I start singing that song that's my own, they'll start singing that back in the same way that I and them love Country Roads, that kind of feeling. So I always sing
mm.
that song to remind me that that's kind of my goal in terms of the live stuff. And sorry, what was the second question?
The second one, I was also curious, would we ever see you dabble into like forming a band someday?
Oh yeah, 100%, man. Bands I love, like that's my go-to. Like in terms of budget wise, I have to kick it solo for a bit. So
Mm,
until I can make some friendships, or like find some talented artists over here, or musicians, sorry, some talented
mm,
musicians. But that's always the goal. I love using a band. I really love the mix of using tracks and a band. So I'm not really stuck on the music has to sound live on stage. Like I love like, I mean, as somebody who works on a computer every day to make music, like the thing I love about how, like, I don't know, the state of music that we have right now. Oh, sorry, man. 1 second.
no problem.
I think my camera just is bugging out. Oh, there we go. Um, yeah, I think the current state of music, like I think we're in such a great place that you can meld like the organic feeling of music with technology. It's I love that whole thing where you can do both together. So I definitely want to work with a band, but incorporate like tracks and synthesizers and mix the technology with the live organic sound, and just I don't know. A lot of my favorite artists incorporate that stuff. Like have a DJ in the back and then have a bass guitarist next to him and the drummer next to him, and then have somebody playing the electric drum pads as well, so you can add some 808s and claps and hi hats and everything. So
Mm,
that's I just want my live shows to be like a crazy experience, and I think you can only, I think no you can. It's not that you can only do that, but for me, I want people to experience that with a mix of everything, like all the tools that
hmm.
we have, like in our disposal. Like I want to use everything I can. So definitely a band thing would be main in the future.
Okay. And for somebody that is not too fond of being in a big crowd, do you have a limit of popularity that you're willing to reach before you be like, all right, I got too popular, let me fall back? Um, or has that never crossed your mind?
That's crazy. No one has ever asked me that question before. Like I'm trying to think. That's probably one of the craziest questions I've been asked lately because that's something I think about every day. Like since I since like my first so when I released my first single under the label, it hit like 1 million streams in the first, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 months, and that was a huge shock for me because I had released nothing before that, and that was obviously a big part of that was because I was signed to a label. I know that, and but ever since that moment, this I've been thinking about this, and this is actually the first time in the those 7 or 8 years I've been doing this that somebody's asked me that, which is crazy, man. So I appreciate the question,
No
but
problem.
yeah, I think for me, it's just a matter of if like, yeah. So there's been a few random thoughts, but like thoughts about that. But in my current state, it's the moment that I'm like, because okay, so like for context, I can't walk through a mall for more than like half an hour, 20 minutes before I'm like, I need to get out of here because there's just
Mhm.
too many people. So the moment that like maybe even, or the moment that like half those people, maybe even 20% of those people, and I'm also like the moment that 1 out of 5 people come up to me and be like, hey, I know you, can we take a picture or this or this? That's about it for me. That's
Oh,
probably my limit. So it's
okay.
because it's like if I can't go to you know my
Your
favorite
local stores and
my
stuff.
locals exactly at all. Like if I get stopped even before I walk in, then I think that's a little bit overboard for me. Like so that's probably. I
No.
mean, honestly, that's just how I feel now. But I don't know. Maybe things will change when that happens. So I can't guarantee it. But at least right now, I'm glad you asked that question because you know you could probably hold me to that when it happens. Like you could be like, hey man, you need to chill, bro. You're getting too big headed.
I was like, it's cool that you got to hide from the world, but you don't necessarily got to stop making music.
Yeah, exactly, exactly, man.
But I can respect that because I'm also someone that also respect my personal boundaries,
Yeah,
and it's like dealing with the outside world and everything. It's a lot, and like you said, it's a battery, and I don't have a lot of patience to give that battery to like other people.
100%, man.
So, I like to keep that to myself. So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
definitely don't like, especially if I get popular to the point where I got like MTVs or random cameramen trying to get the scoop on
nah,
me and
man.
everything. That's
Yeah,
that to me is like my limit. When
yeah,
I got like, people trying to get the scoop of everything that I got on, like I trip on black ice and then somebody took a photo of
yeah,
it.
yeah. That's what I'm afraid of. So like, yeah, you that's it, man. That's like, oh man, I just feel bad for those guys that have to go through that. And then when people say,
hmm
oh, they're like, oh, you can go wipe your tears with your $100 bills. It's just like, I would rather not. Like as much as I love money, I actually don't love money as much as a lot of other people. And for me, it's never worth it. It's never worth my like peace and comfort and like my actual like inner joy, which I
hmm
get from just being in my own place and doing my own thing. And like yeah, for me, my goal is that I can write for these bigger artists and write for these bigger celebrities or whatever, and I can just stay in the back and just kind of get that stable income through working through them, and I don't have to be the name that's like
hmm
front and center with that big hit. If I can get one big hit in my life and write it and send it to somebody else and they're the face of it, I'll be really happy with that, and I can just be free to create whatever I want and not have to worry about being stopped on the street.
No, I agree. And to add on to that, I don't think a lot of people consider their loved ones too. Is that
Mm,
also something that you ever be concerned about?
huge. That's huge for me. Like it's like I don't want. There's a couple of things like I don't want to. uh, maybe it's me being lazy, but I don't want to have to put in the extra effort to tell my kids to not be spoiled. Because it's
Mm,
like it's hard enough to as a parent, like you have to instill these morals and these values in your kids, but then if you add on like their exposure, especially now with the like crazy exposure we have to the world through social media, internet, all that stuff. Like as a celebrity parent, I can see that there's a lot more work that they have to put in to instill these values in the kids if they do, and if they don't, the kids kind of you can go off the rails. And
mm,
also just the most important thing is their safety, and like I don't want to have to I don't know. I don't want to have to give them protection around the clock. I want them to be able to be free and run around without being hassled and just be kids and make mistakes and kind of go through what I went through. I want them to do that. I want them to, yeah, I want them to not be spoiled and be safe. That's kind of it for me. And same for my wife. She's not a social person at all. Like she's very, very shy and she's very, I don't know if the word's recluse, but she's like kind of similar to me. I don't know what that word means, but I've heard people say it. So I think that's right. But yeah, I think I wouldn't want that for our life because that's not the kind of lifestyle we live. We're pretty simple people. So it wouldn't work out for me, I think.
Okay. Shout out to you and your fam.
Thank you, man.
The songs that stand out to me. I listened to about 17 songs, and I'm
Cool.
1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 songs that stand out to me being a first time listener. Listening out of the 17. Uh, Feel It, Next to Me, Why, Me and You, and Someday
Yo,
was the top 5 that stand out to me being a first time listener.
man. Thank you, man.
No
That's
problem.
crazy. What was it about those songs that like kind of stood out?
For for the first 3, Feel It, Next to Me, and Why, it was the music video. For
Ah,
me, I really got lost. Which one with the bear? I think that's my favorite.
that's next to me. That's
Next to Me, yeah, yeah, yeah.
that was like so that was when I was with the label, but that was the one music video with the label that I was just like I had the most fun with because um, there were 2 guys in the record label. So the record label was Sony that I was with, and there were two guys in that department that I worked with on that music video, and they were just these guys that I'd sit down and we'd just joke around and come up with random ideas and have fun with it. And then one of them was like, I was like, I want to go through the 5 stages of grief, but I want to make it in a fun. I want to like mask it because that's kind of what the song's about. Like, the song was me masking myself. It wasn't about me. It was about my friend who just broke up with his partner for like 6 years. He was thinking of marrying her and all that stuff, but then there was a lot of tension, and she basically became like a sister to me and everybody else in the friend group, his family, his parents. They were super close. So when that happened, it kind of like it kind of tore a hole in my heart as well as my friends, obviously,
Mm,
because it felt like losing a sister because she was a big part of our lives. And then so I wrote that song from his perspective, and I wanted to um, yeah, I wanted to talk about like the 5 stages of grief and like how he was trying to get over her, but he was really trying to mask it and be tough and act like everything was fine. So I wanted to create a song that was covered in like a kind of like a dance beat, but then there's
mm,
actual sadness behind it. But people would just kind of groove to it, and they might forget what the lyrics are about. They might forget that it's actually a really sad song, and then that's what I want the music video to be about as well. So the guy was like, "What if you're chasing a bear?" And the bear doesn't. And then we just went on this weird, crazy, chaotic like storyline thing, writing about how my character's trying to overcome grief, but he's hiding it by chasing a bear, and he's using the internet, well, all that crap. But that's yeah.
mm.
So it's cool you vibe with that because that was a really fun one to make.
Shout out to it. And did your friend ever got a chance to check out the music video?
Yeah, he did. As soon as I finished the song with those producers, I told him about it. And he was like, "Mate, this is a hit. You have to release this." It's like straight away. He's like, "Don't worry about me. I'll get over it if you make sure that this song becomes a hit." So that
Okay.
helped. Yeah,
Shout out to them. Okay.
yeah, man.
Yeah, that was like my one of my favorite music videos to stand out to me.
Thank you, man.
Someday, just seeing like the 2 different music videos. Like I saw the music video with the white guy, and then I saw the other version where showcasing you as a child with your family coming off the porch and everything.
Mm,
I thought it was a pretty dope visual,
thank you, man.
just overall. Um, and then I don't remember the music video for why, but I
Yeah.
thought the song was pretty catchy.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that was a yeah that one was about my experience with the label. So that was just kind of yeah. I'm really glad you vibed with that one because that was just kind of letting out my frustration. I've never made a like an angry song before, so that's
Mm,
probably as angry as it gets for me. So it was a bit of a risk to release that one, but I just felt like I had to kind of just Even if it didn't do too well, I just wanted to kind of let everything off my chest, you know. So
Hmm.
so that was an
Shout out
important one
to
to
you.
me. Thank you, man.
So, just me being a first time listener, I see that you have a lot of growth, a lot of potential, I would say.
Thank you.
So I would definitely like to see like how will your sound elevate or evolve, especially for someone that got so much love for the game, willing to explore different genres and stuff. So I'm curious to see, what genres you explore, and then what ones will you keep close to your heart, and could continue to mix it into your repertoire. Uh, uh, Actually, I don't think I even got the chance to ask you. How will you describe your sound, your music?
But yeah, man, thank you for that. Like, that's a big thing for me. Yeah, I really want to just keep exploring, keep trying everything. But yeah, with my sound, I always just say, well, the first person that gave me, because I could never really explain it, right? So my inspirations are like, man, my inspirations are everywhere. So like ABBA, Boney M, Eagles, Daft Punk, um, like oh man, like my sister obviously introduced me to like Neo and Sea Breezy. I don't know if I should talk about him now, but but I still, yeah, you can't deny the hits that man's made. So
Hmm.
yeah, like all that stuff, like yeah, with man, who was some other artists? But yeah, my inspirations were then I went to like when I was in high school, my friends introduced me to like Metallica and ACDC and all of that stuff. And then I found my own artist that I loved. So John Bellion is an artist that's like my biggest inspiration. So basically, the best explanation somebody gave me was that my sound is like an eclectic pop sound. So because it's all over the place, so it's kind of just a little bit of everything. And I didn't know what eclectic was. I had to look that up, but uh,
Mm.
pretty much to me, it just means that it's got like a pop or like you said, like a commercial sound, but the music and like the sonics of it is whatever it is. It's not always R&B or it's not always rock or it's just whatever you hear that song is, whatever that song sounds like to you, that's what it is. So I think that's the
No,
best explanation I can think of it. Just eclectic pop. Yeah.
shout out to that. Okay, and my last two questions. If you could describe your music with one color, what color would represent your music?
Oh.
And for new listeners, how will you prefer for them to tune into your music? For first time listeners, would it be to shuffle your music, or do you have a specific order for them to jump into?
Oh man, these are great questions. I think man, yeah, I think the color for me would have to be blue. Like it's that's a really interesting question. I think I'll go with blue because well, first of all, it's my wife's favorite color, so most of my songs are about her. And I think also because blue has so many different like you can take it in different ways, right? Like blue can be sadness, like the feeling of being blue, but then also blue can be peaceful, like you're floating on the ocean,
Mm,
and it can instill a bit of hope in you. So for me, it's kind of like that kind of encapsulates what my music is about. It's just that like human condition, that inner feeling that the inner feelings that you have and you're trying to deal with. And like a big thing I like to, big image I always like to have in my music is like diving deep into an ocean and then
mm,
like dealing with that darkness and then trying your best to come out. And like that's what I like to kind of those are the themes I like to play on in my music. Like you're in that ocean and you either sink or you swim, and like it's the feeling of wanting to swim even when you feel like you're sinking. So blue's a big thing for me, and I think that's probably yeah. That's another question I've never been asked. That's a crazy
mm.
question. That's a great question, man. So I'd say blue is probably the color, um, and I think with my music, there's no real chronological order for it. So you could start from the very beginning and see if you want to see how my like production's developed, and how my writing is developed. But I was just yeah, I always encourage people just to if they ever asked me this to yeah, just listen to it on shuffle and just see kind of go at it unbiasedly and see which song sticks because I don't want to like without trying to be too arrogant. I feel like I have a lot of songs that that are timeless. They feel like if you listen to them
Mm.
in 10 years, you'd be like, I still resonate with that because when I write my songs, I never try to follow a trend or what's current. I just go with the feeling that I'm feeling in that moment, and I base the whole production, the chords, the melodies, the sonics. I place everything around that feeling. So I write according to a feeling, not according to what's current and what's hip in the market. So my hope is that in 20 years time, 30 years, 50 years time, when people listen to a song I wrote 5 years ago, they'll feel like it's, they can still relate to it. So yeah, that's how I encourage people to just put on shuffle and just see which one sticks with you, and stick with you. But anyway, yeah,
Mm.
see which one relates. That's what I would encourage.
Shout out to you. And
Cheers, man.
coming to the end of the podcast, it was really great to have you as a special guest.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
I see a lot of potential in your music, and just from everything that you offer and what your wife can do as well from the camera and everything, it's a hell of a punch. So I would definitely say I can see y'all taking this far. I'm just curious how far y'all can take it.
Thank you, man.
Shout out to you. So before you go, shout out all your platform, shout out anybody that you want to put on, and then drop a song out of your catalog you want the audience to listen
Oh man, appreciate that. Yeah,
to. No
so
problem.
I mean, biggest shout out to my wife and to my mom. Like two people that has really encouraged me. Obviously, my dad and my sister, and like the people out there that have really encouraged me to keep going with the music thing. Like you know who you are. Like a huge shout out to you, and yeah, like I guess you can just catch me on my Instagram. Everything I think is Lepani Music with two C's, and that's uh, yeah, you can catch me whatever you want. Instagram's kind of my main thing right now, and that's the thing that's the platform I'm able to really relate to people. So, but not talking down the other stuff. If you want to see my stuff on my TikTok's random. So if you're into random stuff, hop on my TikTok. And uh, yeah, and I think, I mean, I got my newest single, Feel It, is out, along with the cover, Stick With You, both like, super upbeat tracks. So if you have time, go check those out. The music video for Feel It is out as well. It's a basic love song, so but with a real high energy. So yeah, go check that out if you feel like that kind of stuff right now.
Shout out to you.